Hey everyone, today we're diving into a revolution that sounds like it's straight out of sci-fi, but believe me, it is becoming a reality in finance. We're talking about quantum computing, fractal geometry, and blockchain, and how these three things coming together are about to change, well, pretty much everything.
It kind of sounds like the beginning of a really nerdy joke, right? But what if I told you these fields, which seem totally separate, are actually colliding to redefine money, markets, and security as we know it? That's the big question we're going to unpack today, and the answer? It's a game changer.
So to really get our heads around this, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with the revolution itself, then we'll dig into each of the three big drivers: the raw power of quantum computing, the new way of seeing things with fractal geometry, and the incredible trust of blockchain. Then we'll pull it all together to see how it's reshaping our entire financial world.
All right, so let's start with the big picture. Before we get into the nuts and bolts, we need to understand this new paradigm that's totally shaking up financial technology.
First things first, just a quick baseline. When we say fintech, we're talking about any tech that helps with financial services, your online banking app, mobile payments, all that stuff. But the revolution we're talking about today isn't just a simple app update. No, it's a fundamental shift in how we process, understand, and secure financial information itself.
The whole thing really boils down to one word: information. It's all about how we handle it. We're talking about the power to compute it way faster, the insight to see hidden patterns inside of it, and a totally new way to share it securely. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a whole new ballgame.
And this info supercharge is coming from three different places. You've got physics, giving us the mind-bending power of quantum computing. Then there's geometry, which is giving us a new lens to see chaos through fractals. And finally, database systems are giving us a completely new model for trust with blockchain. Let's dig into each one.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the power source for this revolution, the quantum computing engine. This is where things get really wild. This tech works on principles that honestly mess with our everyday sense of reality, and it's about to unlock some serious computational power.
To really get the leap we're talking about, think about the basics. Your computer, my computer, they all use bits. A bit is just a simple switch. It's either off, which is a 0, or on, which is a 1. Simple. A quantum computer uses something called a qubit. Now, a qubit can be a 0, it can be a 1, or, and this is the crazy part, it can be both at the exact same time. That one little difference unlocks an exponential explosion in computing power.
So this power comes from a few quantum superpowers. Superposition is what lets a qubit explore tons of possibilities all at once. Then you have entanglement, where you can link two qubits together so what happens to one instantly, and I mean instantly, affects the other no matter how far apart they are. And finally, there's interference, which helps the computer sift through all those possibilities to amplify the right answer and cancel out the wrong ones. Put it all together and you get a machine that can solve problems that are literally impossible for today's fastest supercomputers.
So, what does this actually mean for your money? Well, it means a quantum computer can run super complex risk simulations in seconds instead of hours. It means AI can be trained to spot fraud with scary good accuracy. But here's the catch. This power can also break almost all of our current encryption. That's why there's a huge race right now to build new quantum-safe security. It's a real double-edged sword.
Okay, so having all that power is only half the story. The next part of this revolution is about a new way of seeing financial markets, not as these nice, orderly systems, but through the lens of chaos and something called fractals.
For a long time, traditional finance has relied on the good old bell curve. You've probably seen it. It assumes that most market movements are predictable. The big problem? This model is terrible at predicting the really extreme stuff, like huge market crashes, those so-called black swan events. The fractal approach is totally different. It embraces the chaos and works on the idea that even in the most unpredictable systems, there are hidden, repeating patterns.
And the secret sauce here is a concept called self-similarity. A fractal is basically a shape that repeats itself no matter how much you zoom in or out. Think about a coastline on a map. The jagged pattern you see from way up in space looks a lot like the jagged pattern you'd see if you were standing right there on the beach. It turns out, financial markets show really similar repeating patterns. So, by using fractal geometry, our financial models can get way more sophisticated. We're moving beyond simple predictions to get a much clearer picture of risk. And most importantly, it gives us a new tool to maybe anticipate and get ready for those black swan events that the old models just completely miss.
Okay, so we've got more power and better models. The third piece of this puzzle is all about trust. And this is where blockchain comes in to fundamentally change how we record and verify information.
Right now, our financial system runs on centralized ledgers. Think about it. A bank, a government, some central authority holds all the records. This creates a single point of failure and means we have to put all our trust in that middleman. Blockchain completely flips that on its head. It uses a distributed ledger, where a copy of the records is shared and verified by everyone in the network. Trust isn't created by an institution, it's created by transparent, shared math.
And this distributed model has some seriously powerful features. Immutability means that once a record is in there, it can't be changed, ever. Transparency means everyone can see the same version of the truth, and traceability lets you follow an asset or a transaction from its beginning to its end. Basically, it creates a system where trust is just built right into the code itself.
We're already seeing this pop up all over the place. I mean, beyond cryptocurrencies, this tech is making secure data sharing and transparent transactions a reality. It's also fueling brand new financial models, like peer-to-peer lending and crowdfunding platforms that connect people directly, starting to cut out those traditional middlemen.
Okay, quantum power, fractal vision, and blockchain trust. Now let's put all three of these massive shifts together and see what kind of world this has actually created.
You know, when you combine these three game changers, the stakes get incredibly high. We are talking about fundamentally rewriting the rulebook for finance. So, what are the upsides and what are the serious risks we really need to be watching out for?
This analysis really lays it all out. On the one hand, the strengths are huge: insane calculation speed, much better predictions, and way more security. The opportunities are massive, too. We're talking brand new business models that get rid of middlemen. But the weaknesses are just as serious. This stuff is incredibly expensive to develop, and there's almost no regulation yet. And the threats? They're big ones, from totally new cybersecurity risks to the real danger that just a few giant tech companies could end up dominating this whole new frontier.
So trying to navigate this new world is going to require a really careful balancing act. It calls for open innovation, companies working together to build these incredibly complex systems. But at the same time, we need smarter, forward-thinking regulation that can handle the risks without totally killing progress.
And all of this leaves us with one last, really critical question. This revolution isn't on its way. It's already happening. It promises a financial world that's faster, smarter, and more secure. But it also comes with these enormous challenges. As this technology just keeps getting faster and more powerful, we have to ask ourselves, are we really ready for what's coming next?